Imagine this. You're at work and suddenly you're blamed for a mistake you didn't make. Sound familiar? It's a Tuesday like any other, and out of nowhere your boss, your colleagues, or perhaps your clients are pointing fingers at you. You feel the heat of the spotlight, the sting of unfair criticism. Your heart pounds, your palms sweat, and your mind races to defend yourself against these unwarranted accusations. In this moment, it's easy to let your emotions take the wheel. Anger, frustration, and anxiety bubble up, threatening to spill over and take control. It's a natural response, ingrained in our very biology. After all, we're human beings, wired to protect ourselves when we perceive a threat. But here's the thing. While it's natural to feel these emotions, it's not always productive to act on them, especially in a professional setting. Reacting impulsively can escalate the situation, damage relationships, and leave a lasting impression that might not be in your favor. So how do we navigate these choppy waters? First, it's essential to understand that it's okay to feel upset. Acknowledge your feelings without judgment. Remember, it's not the feelings themselves that cause trouble, but how we react to them, and that's where our power lies. Next, we need to take a step back. Breathe. Create a space between the trigger and our response. This moment of pause is where we can choose how to respond rather than react. In that space, we can decide to stay calm, to listen, to question, and to respond with poise and grace, even in the face of blame. This isn't about ignoring your feelings or becoming a doormat. It's about harnessing the power of your emotions and using them as a tool for growth, learning, and resilience. It's about developing a mindset that allows you to navigate the ups and downs of life with grace and composure. But what if you could keep your cool no matter what? Let's explore how. Our mind is a powerful tool, capable of being trained and reprogrammed. This might sound like something out of a science fiction movie, but it's a reality backed by neuroscience and psychology. We call this phenomenon neuroplasticity. It's the mind's incredible ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. This means that our brain is not a static organ, but a dynamic entity, constantly evolving and changing in response to our experiences and thoughts. Let's take an example. Imagine you have a well-trodden path in a forest that you always take. This path is like a habit or a thought pattern you've created over time. Now, say you want to create a new path, a new habit, or a new way of thinking. At first it's hard, right? But the more you walk on this new path, the easier it becomes to tread. That's neuroplasticity in action. But how can we actually change our reactions and emotions, especially in stressful situations? This is where cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, comes into play. CBT is a type of psychotherapy that helps us understand how our thoughts and feelings influence our behaviors. Say, for instance, you're often blamed for unnecessary things and it makes you feel angry or upset. CBT would encourage you to challenge these reactions, to question whether they are helpful or rational. It might prompt you to consider alternatives, like staying calm and composed instead of reacting impulsively. Over time, by consciously choosing how to react to situations, you can retrain your brain to respond differently. You can form new neural pathways that lead to more positive reactions. In essence, you're not just changing your mind, you're changing your brain. The power of the mind is not just about controlling our immediate reactions. It extends to our overall well-being too. Reprogramming our mind can help us break free from the monotony of routine life and adopt what we call a super tribe mentality, a mindset that focuses on resilience, adaptability, and positivity. So how can we put these concepts into practice? Let's break it down. The first step towards reprogramming our mind is awareness. Indeed, awareness is the cornerstone of change. It's about recognizing our emotions and identifying our triggers. It's not just about knowing we're angry, but understanding what made us angry. It's not about feeling upset, but understanding why we're upset. It's about delving into the depths of our emotional responses and finding the root cause. Imagine your emotions as a river. If we only observe the surface, we see the ripples and waves, but we don't understand what's causing them. But if we dare to dive deeper, we discover the undercurrents, the rocks, the debris, the real reasons behind the turbulence. Recognizing these elements equips us to better navigate our emotional landscape. We can steer our way around the triggers, or better yet, work to remove them altogether. This awareness is the first step towards changing our reactions. Once we're aware, we can start to make changes. The second step is practice. The power of repetition cannot be overstated when it comes to reprogramming our minds. It's akin to learning a musical instrument or a new language. With each repetition, our brain creates and strengthens neural pathways, making the new behavior or reaction more automatic and effortless. Consider this. When you're faced with a situation that usually triggers anger or frustration, practice responding differently. Maybe you take a deep breath, count to 10, or remind yourself of a calming mantra. The first few times, it might feel awkward or forced, but with practice, these new reactions become more natural. It's important to remember that practice isn't about perfection. It's about progress. You won't always respond perfectly, and that's okay. The goal is to gradually change your default reactions, transforming them from anger or blame to calm and understanding. With practice, we can start to see real changes in our reactions. The final step is reinforcement. Now that we've covered the importance of understanding our triggers and the power of reframing our thoughts, it's time to delve into the process of reinforcing these new reactions. Reinforcement is an essential part of cognitive behavioral therapy, and it plays a pivotal role in establishing new patterns in our brains. Think of it as the glue that holds everything together. It's the practice that helps solidify the new habits we've been working so hard to form. It's the repetition that helps us to reprogram our minds, to embrace the supertribe mentality, and to harness the power of neuroplasticity. So how does this work? Imagine a scenario where someone blames you for something you didn't do. Instead of responding with anger or frustration, you take a breath, you stay calm, and you handle the situation with grace and understanding. Now it's time to reward yourself. This could be as simple as taking a moment to acknowledge your achievement, or treating yourself to a small indulgence like a favorite snack, or a walk in the park. This positive reinforcement serves a dual purpose. First, it helps to make the new reaction more appealing. It becomes something to look forward to rather than a challenge to overcome. Second, it helps to create a positive association in your mind. The more you reward yourself for staying calm, the more your brain will associate calmness with positive outcomes. It's important to remember that change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and a lot of patience. But each time you reward yourself for staying calm, you are taking one step closer to reprogramming your mind. You are creating new pathways in your brain, pathways that lead to calmness and resilience, instead of anger and frustration. Remember, it's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about learning how to manage them in a way that's beneficial to you. It's about breaking free from the chains of routine life and embracing the power of change. With these steps, we can reprogram our mind to stay calm, no matter what. So, there you have it, a simple 3-step process to reprogram your mind. We began our journey by acknowledging the power of blame. We recognize that it can be a debilitating force if we allow it to control us. However, we can make a conscious choice to control our reactions to blame, and in doing so, we can take the first step towards self-improvement. Next, we explored the remarkable power of the mind and the concept of neuroplasticity. Our minds are not fixed or static, but rather, they are dynamic and adaptable. With the right tools and techniques, we can reprogram our minds to cultivate a supertribe mentality. This shift in mindset can help us to stay calm during stressful situations and maintain a positive outlook on life. Our first step in this process involved cognitive behavioral therapy, a powerful technique that allows us to challenge our negative thoughts and replace them with more positive, rational ones. By practicing this technique regularly, we can change our thought patterns and, in turn, our behaviors. Step 2 was all about practicing silence. In a world that is constantly buzzing with noise and chaos, silence can serve as a sanctuary. It allows us to reflect, recharge, and reconnect with ourselves. Silence is also a powerful tool for developing self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Finally, in Step 3, we discussed the importance of disrupting our routine life. By stepping out of our comfort zones and challenging ourselves in new ways, we can stimulate our minds, foster personal growth, and ultimately, reprogram our minds. Now, it's your turn. Try these strategies in your own life. Start small and remember that change takes time. You may not see results overnight, but with consistent practice, you will start to notice a shift in your mindset and your reactions to the world around you. Remember, change is a process, not an event. So be patient with yourself and don't forget to share your experiences in the comments. We're all in this together.